Yeah, good evening. My audio video is clear?
Yeah, clear, madam.
Clear.
So now only just we'll wait for 2 minutes, madam. People are joining.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir.
Sir, good evening, sir. Good evening. Shabir, sir, good evening.
Shabir Ahmad Shabir from Srinagar, Kashmir.
Kashmir, sir. Namaste.
Shabir Ahmad Shabir from Srinagar, Kashmir.
Sir, namaste, sir.
Namaskar, sir.
We will be starting in a few minutes.
Namaskar, sir.
Madam, will start, madam. Good evening, all. Good evening, all. Welcome to this webinar, which is organized by Regional Science Center Tirupati to commemorate the International Women's Day that is celebrated every year on 8th of March. And before starting the program, wishing a very happy Women's Day to all strong, intelligent, talented women of this world. And this International Women's Day was first observed in the year 1911. And the main aim behind observing this International Women's Day is to highlight and recognize the achievements of women in different spheres, while also bringing attention to important issues, including the gender discrimination that exists even today. And even by removing or by fighting with this gender discrimination, we have very great women in history, like we have Rani Ahalya Bai, Rani Lakshmi Bai, or Rani Rudrama Devi. Even in the field of science, we have Janaki Ammal, who is the first PhD holder in India in botany. And we have Mother Teresa, Indira Gandhi, Savitri Bai Phule, Sarojini Naidu. Even in the field of astronomy, like we have Kalpana Chawla, Sunita Williams. And in field of sports, we have great Karnam Malliswari and PV Sindhu. And many women, they have proved that they can achieve great heights in various fields. Even we have Lata Mangeshkar, MS Subbalakshmi in the field of arts. So there are plenty of women who have proved that they can achieve great heights. And to to talk about this gender. And today, this March 8th, we are celebrating on a particular theme, and the theme is gender equality, and that is for a sustainable, how to remove the gender equality for a sustainable tomorrow. And to deal with this topic today we have Madam Sadhana Attavar, and who is presently working as Director of Visvesvaraya Industrial and Technological Museum. And a brief introduction about Madam Madam is an engineer in electronics and communication, and she has an experience of over 30 years in the field of science communication and in development of exhibits and galleries. Her major experience is curating exhibitions on various themes in science and technology for museums across the country. Some of her curations include the Space Technology Gallery, Bell Hall of Electronics, and Electronic Gallery at Visvesvaraya Industrial and Technological Museum, Bengaluru. She has contributed to the development of science center networks across the country and was instrumental in setting up the Pilikula Science Center at Mangalore, Karnataka. Currently, she heads the Visvesvaraya Industrial and Technological Museum, Bangalore, as its director, which is also the southern headquarters of National Council of Science Museums, Ministry of Culture, Government of India. Also, she is the senior member of IEEE, Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers, and life member of IETE and Computer Society of India. With this brief introduction, now I request Madam Sadhana to please start our webinar. Thank you, Madam.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Balaji, for the warm introduction, and good afternoon to all the participants who have joined, and happy Women's Day to all of you. I would like to share my presentation now. Yeah, you are able to see it?
Yeah, yes, Madam.
Yes, madam.
Yeah, it is visible.
Yeah, happy Women's Day to all of you. Gender equality is essential for economies and communities to thrive, and equal world is an enabled world. So, as already told by Mr. Balaji, every year March 8th is dedicated to celebrate the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women across the globe. It started in 1911 when the first International Women's Day gathering took place, and United Nations declared 1977. In 1977, 8th March was declared as the International Women's Day, and from 1977, countries all over the world are celebrating this International Women's Day. And every year the different themes are given, and the theme for the today's year is gender equality today for tomorrow. And climate crisis and gender equality are two core issues at the UN Sustainable Developmental Goals, and it is a very challenging thing for United Nations also to maintain gender equality and climate change at the same time in the 21st century. And when we see the ratio of employed number of women engineers and scientists across the globe, the ratio is female are 29% and male are 71%. So there's a big gap in across the globe. But when we come to India, this is the Indian scenario. Actually, though 43% of the nowadays, actually people, a lot of girls do engineering in the STEM field, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. In India, the number of girl students studying in science and engineering is 43%. By contrast, in the United States, it's only 34%, and in Canada, it is 31%. So the India has improved a lot as far as women. The earlier women never used to complete even 10th standard. It was very bad. Now women have improved compared to world scenario. We are better. But when it comes to employment, after graduating, we find that only 14% are employed as scientists and engineers, whereas across the world it was 29%. So nearly we are 50% down compared to the world number. So there is a leakage in the pipeline. After graduation, after learning everything, even there is women engineers and scientists, after doing PhD also, they don't work. There are many people who are graduated from a prestigious institution, they don't work due to various reasons. So that is a very sad state though, but whereas in study wise, it is a big jump for India. We are better than USA. 43% of women are taking up engineering and science fields, but whereas after graduating, they are not going for jobs. There is that problem needs to be tackled. Only 14% compared to the world scenario, 29% of women are employed as scientists, and in India it's only 14%. That is a cause for concern. And we can see here that country-wise employed women researchers. This is sources from Forbes. So Argentina's highest, 53% of women. They are actually better than men. You can say. Actually, we are aiming at equality, 50-50. We are not saying that both one should be more than the other. We actually both of this thing gender should be equal, so that for a progressive society and community and for a sustainable tomorrow we require equality. But see, Argentina is 53%, New Zealand is 52%, Russia is 40%, Pakistan is 39%, Italy 35%, Germany 28%, France 27%, China 27%, Korea 20%, Japan 16%, and India is 14%, which is a very sad state. India is very much down, though we have 43% of women educated who doing STEM, but when it comes to employability, the percentage of women employed in India is very less. And if you Google, if you want to get a picture of a scientist or anywhere, you will get only pictures of only male scientists. You will never get like this. All male scientist images will come. This is a very common scenario. So, because of this, the United Nations has made a documentary film on Picture a Scientist to mark International Women's Day 2022. United Nations has presented a film on Picture a Scientist. It is a documentary highlighting a gender inequality in science. And this film covers, it mainly features these three scientists. This is a biologist, Nancy Hopkins from Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and we have a chemist, Rachel, and geologist, Jane. These are the three scientists, and also there are a host of number of other scientists are also portrayed. This film talks about the scientific works of women scientists and how their struggle in reaching to this level. So the women scientists have to struggle a lot to come up in the scientific community. So this if you get a chance, please watch this film, Picture a Scientist. This is in the United Nations as releasing this. And also when I have put up collected some women scientists in India. I have put up. So when you say picture a scientist, these scientists are also should be pictured. That the United Nations has done for global. So this is something for Indian women scientists. That is Dr. Archana Sharma was a cytogeneticist. Dr. Janaki Amal was a botanist. And Dr. Rajeshwari Chatterjee was the first woman engineer. Annamani was a meteorologist. And Kamala Ranadevi was a pathologist. Asima Chatterjee was a chemist. Darshan Ranganathan was a biochemist. Kadambi Ganguly was a physician. Iravati Karve was an anthropologist, and this I have already told. And Rama Parimala was a mathematician. So there are a lot of women scientists also, but they have not got the importance which male scientists had got. And these are some of the women scientists of recent times. That is for the olden times. This is for the recent times. Tessie Thomas is considered as the missile woman of India, and Ritu, she became famous with the Chandrayaan 2 mission. She was the mission director, and Vanita was the project director of Chandrayaan 2. This is Vanita. And Gagandeep Gang is a virologist during COVID times. You must have seen him, seen her regularly coming on the TV channels. And Mangala Mani was a polar woman of ISRO. She spent 1 year in the Antarctica. First woman scientist who has spent 1 year on the Antarctica. And Kamakshi Shivaramakrishnan is her technology is used on board NASA's New Horizon mission, which is probing the Pluto. And Chandrima Saha is the first woman president of the Indian National Science Academy. It's a prestigious institution set up by Sir C.V. Raman. And now, after this scientist, so maybe I will talk about Dr. Janaki Ammal, who's the first Indian botanist, and her period is from 1897 to 1984. She had to though she had done a remarkable work in botany, but still many of the scientists also do not know about her, because she did not get so much importance what her counterparts in male scientists got during her period. Though she has done an extensive work, she did not get that much recognition what the male scientists were getting it. So Dr. Janaki Ammal was one of the pioneering women scientists of the 19th century, and she is noted for the sugarcane which you are eating today, which is sweet. She is responsible for the sugarcane. Actually, initially the sugarcane which we used to get was not sweet, but she did research and she crossbred the different varieties, and she obtained a hybrid variety in which we got the sweet sugarcane which we eat today. And also she is responsible for the hybrid variety of the brinjal which is called the Janaki brinjal. She was born on 4th November in 1897 in Telisheri in the Malabar coast of Kerala. She was born into a family of a huge family of 14 siblings. She was the 10th in the family, and these were her parents. Her father was Divan Pagadur Kakkat Krishnan. He was working as a judge in the sub-registrar's office in Telisheri, and his mother was her mother was Devi Kuruvai. And Janaki Ammal had liking for the plants at a very young age, because her father had a good backyard where a lot of plants were there, and she used to go with the father into the garden, and she used to take notes about the plants. That's how Janaki Ammal got interested in plants at a very young age, and her parents were very progressive, and they encouraged her their daughter to go to pursue her studies. So she started the literacy of women in India was less than 1% in 1913. The people who completed 10th was less than 1% in 1913, and we are seeing that as of today it is 43% of women. So it's a big jump from 1913 to 2022. In a century, there's a big jump, less than 1%, and in that less than 1%, Janaki Ammal was one of the women scientists who completed a schooling in Sacred Arts Girls' School in Telisheri, and then she went on to do. She had a liking for the plants, so she went on to do botany at Queen Mary's College, Madras, and then she did her honors from the Madras Presidency College in 1921. And after getting the honors degree in the Presidency College, she began teaching at the Women's Christian College in Madras. And now it is called Chennai. And then moment she finished her graduation, like all parents, her parents also thought that she should get married, and they started searching for a matrimonial match. But Janaki Ammal had a different thing. She surprised her parents. She said that I'm going to USA, to University of Michigan. I've got a scholarship and I'm going to do my post-graduation. Her parents were really wonderstruck. They said, we have to get you married. But then she was saying that, no, I've got a scholarship. Then her parents encouraged her. They did not stop her. They encouraged her, and that's how she landed in at the University of Michigan. She got the Barber Scholarship, which was fully funded. While working at the Women's Christian College, she was awarded the prestigious Barber Scholarship to pursue a master's degree at the University of Michigan in USA. This was a very rare thing for a woman to go to United States and do a post-graduation and also do later a doctorate also. Then in 1925, Janaki Ammal earned this Master of Science, and also in 31 she received a doctorate, and she was the first Indian woman to receive that degree of botany, first Indian woman to get a doctorate, PhD in the field of botany in the United States, and her doctorate was in the chromosomal studies in Nicandra phycoloides. She was mainly interested in the chromosomal studies in plants. And then after completing a PhD, she came back to India and she took up the job of a professor at the Maharaja's College of Science. Now it is called the University College of Science in Trivandrum in Kerala. And she again started teaching. But then she felt that while teaching, she realized that she was not learning anything. She is teaching, but she wanted to learn more and more about plants. So she thought that I should join some research labs where I can do more research on plants. So that's how she joined as a sugarcane geneticist in the sugarcane breeding station at Coimbatore. This is the sugarcane breeding station in 1935. So she left her teaching job and she joined as a sugarcane geneticist. And then while working there, she was feeling that why the sugarcane which we eat, it is not sweet. We always, for getting a sweet sugarcane, we have to import it from Indonesia. So she was wondering. So she started doing research. She started doing crossbreed and hybrid varieties. She did lot of research in this. And at that time, when she was doing research, her male scientists were even telling what this lady can do, what she's thinking of doing research. She was actually harassed, humiliated, insulted, but she didn't bother. She continued to do her research and she succeeded and she proved to everyone, and finally they accepted, and even an article was published in Nature about how she succeeded in getting the sugarcane which we eat. During Shankranti we eat sugarcane, so we should be thankful to Dr. Janaki Ammal, but nobody even remembers Dr. Janaki Ammal. Then after that, the Indian Academy of Sciences was started in Bengaluru by Sir C.V. Raman, and again she became a research fellow. After doing it, she joined as a research fellow. She was one of the first women research fellows to join at the Indian Academy of Sciences in Bengaluru in 1934. Then after that, then she applied for a scholarship at Inns Institute in England John Innes Institute in England in 1940. So that time World War II was going on. So her parents said that World War II is going on in Europe and UK and all. So you don't go. It's better you continue to do your research work in India only. But that when she told her parents that war is better than this war, because here she felt that she was being harassed and humiliated. She was not encouraged to do her research work. Whatever she does, she was always put down. So she thought that that World War is better than here. So she said, I am going. I have got a scholarship. So she is going. And again, her parents, they encouraged her to go. And she went to England in 1940. And she worked as an assistant cytologist at the institute, and she did lot of research work at this institute especially. And a rose is named after E.K. Janakal in her memory. A yellow flowered hybrid rose and even today it blooms there, and it is named as E.K. Janaki Ammal rose. And she worked on. Later, she joined the Royal Horticultural Society in England in 1947. She did extensive research on this plant Magnolia, and this Magnolia, it's also called, one of the plant is named as Magnolia Cobus Janaki Ammal. It blooms even today at the Royal Horticultural Society. And her mentor, the director of John Innes Institute, was Professor Darlington. And Professor Darlington encouraged her in her research very much, and both of them together, they have authored a book called Chromosomes of Atlas of Cultivated Plants. It is written by Professor Darlington and Janaki, and even today this book has been referred by all the botanists. It's like the most important book in the field of botany. She has done the study of cultivated plants and the chromosome atlas of cultivated plants, and this is a very valuable book even today, and it was co-authored by her and Professor Darlington, who was the director of John Innes Institute. And she had a chance, like she was traveling by flight, and she happened to meet the then Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, and he told her that you need to come back to India, and you have to head the Botanical Survey of India. You have to do a lot of work in India. And she immediately accepted. She left her job in UK. She was working at the Royal Horticultural Society, and she came back to India and she joined the Botanical Survey of India. And she worked at the regional research laboratory in Lucknow. Then she moved to Jammu, and she worked at the different units of Botanical Survey of India. And she has created an herbarium of all the plants, especially in Jammu. There is a herbarium of all the plants available in India is stored in the form of a herbarium. And so after that she worked extensively in restructuring the Botanical Survey of India in various positions. She has worked, and after her retirement at the age of 80 also, then she came back to Chennai, and she was working as an emeritus professor. And that time the government at that point of time, there's a silent valley in the state of Kerala. They wanted to set up a hydel power plant, but she opposed it. Opposed that movement of setting up a hydel power plant, and now that area is preserved. And now today we are having the Silent Valley National Park, where different varieties of plants, animals, insects, they exist. But she worked enormously for the environment and for a sustainable tomorrow. The scientist of the 19th century. She did remarkable work in the field of botany, and also she worked towards restoring the environment and climate change. She was so conscious, and because of her efforts, finally the hydroelectric power plant did not come. Because of her position, she was able to influence the government, and she stopped the power plant coming. And today we are having the Silent Valley National Park, which was opened in 1984, and few months before that she passed away. She passed away in 1984. So this is a story of one Indian woman scientist, which many people do not know. So I thought I should share this, and it is also very relevant in the topic, which is there, gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow. And the theme for the International Women's Day is that, and also break the bias. So this is the symbol. So let us break the bias, and let us have a gender equality world. Break the bias, and let us have an equal world. An equal world is an enabled world. So the race is on for a gender equal boardroom, gender equal government, gender equal media coverage, gender equal workplace, sports, health, wealth. A gender equality is required for a sustainable tomorrow. Let us break the bias, and let us have an gender equal world. Thank you.
Thank you, madam, for highlighting the importance of Women's Day, and as well as highlighting the life story of Dr. Janaki Ammal. And the audience, if you have any questions about this particular webinar, you are welcome. You please ask madam, or type in the chat box. Yeah, someone is typing. Yeah, please ask your question.
Yeah, hi ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am. Myself is Shravanti, ma'am. Actually, I have few doubts, ma'am. As we know that gender equality is a sustainable development goal number 5. So, as you said, like we are not getting equal opportunity and equal remuneration, and sex ratio is very low. So, what are the like when exactly we will get gender equality, ma'am? At the same time, what kind of serious actions we have to take it, ma'am?
No, there is no time limit. Actually, we cannot say that this is the time. It's not like for any other thing that today we'll get or tomorrow it'll work. So we have to educate everybody, and we should make people, especially the men, aware that an equal world is an enabled world. The disparity is there from the beginning, but actually we have made a good progress. Now India is in a better, from the statistics which I have shared, we are not as bad as earlier, but it's a long way. I'll be happy when a day comes when we don't have to celebrate International Women's Day. There should not be a special day for women. It should, why we should have a special day? Because our representation is less. There's no gender equality. We are having this day. This day should not be there. That will be the day when their gender equality is achieved. Then this United Nations should scrap this in a Women's Day, and there should not be, when there is gender equality, then it's not necessary to celebrate Women's Day at all. So I think the question cannot be answered. There's no time limit. Only we let us hope that we'll have an equal world in the near future.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
And we have got a question from Professor Nilima from Sri Padmavati Mara University. Madam is actually in a department of journalism. So she asked, like, do you think having more women scientists in artificial intelligence will help to mitigate some of the fear about its consequences? It's in chat box.
Yeah. Do you think having more women scientists in artificial will help mitigate some of the fear about its? No. Actually, women scientists are required not only in artificial intelligence, in every field. Because people may feel that robots may take over the human being, but I think in machine learning, lot of women are there. Machine learning and artificial intelligence, because a lot of women are doing computer science, and many of them are specializing in data science and machine learning. Women are there, and definitely it'll. Because the perspective of women is different and perspective of men are different. If you take up science or anything else, because they have some plus points, we have some plus points. So both of us should work together to make a better tomorrow. Not only in artificial intelligence, in every field, both should. If there is a team, if you, even in your college or school, especially colleges, when you have a project work, you should not, generally the tendency is all girls 4 will join and one group. All boys will join one group, then they'll work on project. But it should not. If you are a professor, you make sure that you put 2 girls in a project group and 2 boys in a project group, because then their project will be better. You also do a study of yourself. You put 4 girls in one group, 4 boys in one group, and the third group put 2 girls and 2 boys, and you find that the third group will do better because they'll have a diverse ideas instead of mono idea. So always that's how we should encourage. We should always make sure any competition judgment is there, you have equal ratio. So then the perspective will be different instead of having only one type of this thing. So that is the only way of achieving it, and only each one of us should strive to whatever little work you do is better. Even at your home also, you should treat both your son and daughter equally. But that mentality is still there. Though Dr. Janaki Ammal's parents were progressive, even when less than 1% were doing high school education, but she was allowed to do 10th standard, and she went up to PhD to even today. People don't go up to. There are many people who are going, but there are many people still who can't even dream of going. But in 1911, she dreamt of going to USA and getting a PhD. That was a remarkable achievement. So you should have some role models, and then we should tell them that they see them, they have achieved, so you can also achieve. And you should encourage your daughters to take up science and engineering and take up jobs, because in science especially there's a leaky pipeline. They are studying if you go in an engineering college, students, the ratio is almost equal. Though it is not equal, 43% and 50, the remaining are 57%, but it is almost, we are coming to equal. But whereas in those days, when during Dr. Janaki Ammal's time and all, she would have been the only girl in the male-dominated field. So now it is definitely improving, but again, after the education, they are not taking up jobs. So that is a big challenge. They have to work. Having spent so much money on education, your parents as well as the government also. So then they have to take up a job and they have to work. Then only we'll have a sustainable tomorrow.
Any more questions? And if no questions are there, then we'll end this webinar by thanking Madam for giving this wonderful lecture on this International Women's Day. And also we thank some of the key persons who have joined this webinar: Professor B. M. Nilima, Department of Journalism, Sri Padmavati Mahila University, Tirupati, and Dr. Uma Devi, HOD in Physics, Padmavati Mahila Degree College, and Shabir Ahmad, who is joined from Srinagar for this webinar, and also Madam Anjali Verma. She is a peace educator, Principal Basic Education Department from UP, Uttar Pradesh, and all other members and staff of Regional Science Center, Tirupati. Thank you all for joining this webinar, and thank you one and all.
Yeah, thank you all.
Participants may leave the webinar.